Hello and welcome to The Hub. I'm Wang Guan in Beijing. China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi arrived in Papua New Guinea on Thursday. Economic cooperation, fishery, climate change, and deals under the Belt and Road Initiative were all on the agenda. Now, a very important question to ask. Is China's growing engagement with countries in the South Pacific a battle for influence with the West? Or does it open a new chapter of cooperation based not on condescension, not on attaching political strings, but on equality and mutual benefits? To discuss this further, I'm joined at this hour by Mr. Richard Yakam, Chief Trade Officer and Assistant Secretary at the Department of Commerce and Industry from Papua New Guinea. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on board.
Sure, sir. I want to begin by asking you about the Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi's visit to your country. You were there in the bilateral meetings. What do you think the significance of the Chinese Foreign Minister's visit to your country? What do you think has come out of the meetings?
Well, I think that answer was answered by Foreign Minister and Prime Minister himself. From the technical level, that visit signifies more importance, especially in the aspects of trade and investment between China and the Pacific, especially Papua New Guinea, for that matter. For Papua New Guinea, we see the Chinese market as very big market with a bigger population. If we can capture, Papua New Guinea can capture at least 1 or 0.5% of the market, that's very good, very big beneficial for a country like Papua New Guinea, which is very small. And that's important when the discussions on trade and investment between Chinese Foreign Minister and the Papua New Guinea Foreign Minister, which the discussions were centered more on trade and investment and how the two countries can advance the relationship, especially in the aspects of trade and investment between the two countries. That's very, very important for Papua New Guinea, for a small developing country like Papua New Guinea, to look at a bigger market like China, the Chinese market, and the Chinese investment in the country. In those aspects, that the visit of the Chinese Foreign Minister to the region and especially to Papua New Guinea, it brought more confidence and strengthened the economic and trade relations between the two countries to the next level, and especially in some of the discussions that the two ministers had, especially to strengthen and to explore the ongoing discussions on the free trade agreement between the two countries. It's very, very important.
That's what I'm going to ask you, sir. The free trade agreement. There have been discussions on that. What are the sticking points? What are the progress?
Especially the delay has been on the part of Papua New Guinea. So when the initial the leaders, when they agreed for the two countries to explore the possibilities of having a free trade agreement within the two countries, what we did at the initial stages were to do some feasibility studies on the part of Papua New Guinea, especially. That feasibility study is very, very important for Papua New Guinea because we need to look at the possible sectors that we can have discussions with our Chinese counterparts, look at the policy space, especially in which sectors that we need to prioritize, which sectors we need to open up to the Chinese investors or for Chinese imports, and so forth. That advantages and disadvantages, and especially the welfare losses, if there's any, or if there's an income loss through the reduction of tariffs or so. And so we did that. We have completed that. The Minister for Foreign Affairs has endorsed the completion of the study. And so now we are moving into the joint feasibility study between the two countries. So we are discussing the terms of reference and the content itself on the joint study. So we hope to complete that one within a month or so, 2 months, probably 3 months, and then probably take on the start looking at the discussions on the free trade agreement itself.
You talk about the time frame within which you hope the free trade deal can be concluded. You said 2 months, 3 months?
It's not a free trade deal. What I was referring to, the joint feasibility study, we are now in discussion. The free trade deal itself, it does not take 3 months. It takes probably some years, like the Chinese-Australian free trade agreement negotiations took more than 10 years. So we are looking some periods of time, but the actual study itself might take some.
Right.
3
Fair
or
enough.
4.
Fair enough. I mean, to some of our viewers who are not extremely familiar with Papua New Guinea and what the country has to offer, here's a quick reminder. Papua New Guinea has become the largest exporter to China in the region, among other things. Papua New Guinea actually exported 80% of goods and services to China among all the South Pacific Island countries, which is phenomenal. How do you foresee the trade relations to grow even further? And what really tangible benefits do you think this trading ties can bring to the people of Papua New Guinea?
Well, significantly, in like other countries, trade is very, very important. And like you said, Chinese is a very important market to Papua New Guinea. We have the trade balance is in favor of Papua New Guinea. We intend to build on that. But at the same time, the imports of industrial goods and the imports from China are also coming in. But we're also trying to get more Chinese investment in the country so that the Chinese companies themselves can export back to China, especially in the aspects of downstream processing some of the raw materials that we have in the country, especially in the agricultural sector, forestry, and fisheries sectors. Attract more in Chinese investment, they process it here and they export back to China. But we also are mindful of the cost of doing business here in the country, especially in the unit cost of production and the competitiveness of those products in the Chinese market and here in PNG. But the bigger picture we are looking at is to capture the Chinese market, at least for a smaller country, a smaller percent, would be very beneficial to the country.
Now, Officer Yakam, a major concern of many Western countries is that they assume that if China were to succeed in its engagement with countries, including Papua New Guinea economically, that engagement will sooner or later evolve into building military bases or projecting China's military power in the region, and therefore China would become, as they put it, a threat to regional stability. Do you look at that way too?
Probably because I'm a trade officer, I don't look at that aspect of the military or security issue because my discussion with my colleagues from the Chinese Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade officials in China are more focused on trade and investment and how the two countries can benefit from such an arrangement between the two countries. The aspects of military, well, in some aspects they come in, but I don't see more as a more development partner, more trade and investment partner in that aspect from a trade and economic perspective. That's personally how I see it more than a security issue or a political issue for that matter.
Are discussions of building a military base, for example, in Papua New Guinea discussed at all during the Chinese foreign minister visit meetings in your country?
I think that was made very clear during the press conference by the Minister for Foreign Affairs and International Trade, Soraya himself. There was no discussion on security or military for that matter during the Chinese foreign minister's visit. The discussions were more centered on trade and investment issues. So the security issue has never been discussed during the bilateral meetings or meeting with the Prime Minister himself. Also, I don't think such security issues were discussed with other Pacific Island country members.
Papua New Guinea established diplomatic relations with People's Republic of China as early as 1976, soon after it gained independence from Australia. We know that Australia is a very important partner of Papua New Guinea, and China is having a growing partnership with your country. How do you see this trilateral relations evolving, especially considering that China and Australia don't have the best relations right now?
For Papua New Guinea, the relationship between Australia, China, or US or the EU, which we do have trade agreements with, are very, very important partners to Papua New Guinea. The Papua New Guinean foreign policy is enemies to none, friends to all. And that's our foreign policy, and we stand on that principle. And so even within the context of trade and investment relationship, we look at a win-win situation where we try to maintain a balance with our trading partners, our development partners, and our friends on the principle of friends to all, enemies to none.
Chief Trade Officer Richard Yakam from Papua New Guinea, thank you so much for your time today, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on this program.
That was Richard Yakam, Chief Trade Officer and Assistant Secretary at the Department of Commerce and Industry from Papua New Guinea. Thank you very much, sir, for your insights.